Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching this channel. Today's video will completely change the way you think about air layering. If you've struggled to succeed with air layering in the past, this video will show you exactly how to get reliable results. And even if you've already been doing air layering, after today, you'll be able to produce much higher quality nursery trees with confidence. There is one most important point for successful air layering: use thick branches. In this video, I'll explain the scientific reasons why thick branches are superior for air layering, how to perform air layering on thick branches with a very high success rate, what the roots actually look like after they form, and how the tree grows afterwards. By understanding today's content, your success rate with air layering will dramatically improve. So please watch until the end. Why should we use thick branches for air layering? The biggest reasons are very simple. Thick branches root far more easily, and their growth after separation is dramatically faster. This can be clearly explained from the perspective of plant physiology. First, thick branches have a much higher rooting rate. The first reason is that thick branches contain far more stored carbohydrates, starch. Air layering requires a large amount of energy for root formation. When new roots begin to emerge, the starch stored inside the branch is consumed rapidly. Thick branches have an overwhelming amount of this stored starch. Thin branches, low starch, easily weaken during rooting. Thick branches, abundant starch, produce strong, vigorous roots. This is why thick branches are considered significantly more advantageous for fruit tree air layering.
Second, thick branches contain more auxin, creating the ideal hormonal environment for rooting. Auxin is a key plant hormone that promotes root formation. When we perform girdling during air layering, auxin accumulates above the wounded area. Because auxin is produced in the leaves, branches with more leaves, meaning thicker branches, produce more auxin. Additionally, auxin moves in a one-way flow from the top toward the bottom. This is called polar auxin transport. When this downward flow is blocked by a wound, auxin accumulates above it, which triggers rooting. In short, more leaves on a thick branch, more auxin produced. More auxin accumulates above the girdling, stronger rooting. Here is one important point. Air layering works better on upward-facing branches because auxin only flows downward. Downward hanging branches cannot accumulate auxin at the girdled area and therefore often fail to root. Next, why do thick-branched air layers grow faster after separation? Once a thick branch has rooted and is separated as a new plant, its growth speed is dramatically faster than that of a thin branch air layer. There are three main reasons. Thicker xylem provides stronger water transport capacity. More leaves allow higher photosynthetic activity. Greater rooting volume improves survival and establishment. In fruit trees, the growth of the early stage directly determines the growth potential for the entire life of the tree. A tree that starts strong continues to grow exponentially. Small trees take a very long time to grow larger, but larger trees grow even bigger in a relatively short amount of time. This is why air-layered trees from thick branches often begin bearing fruit within 1-2 years after planting.
How to perform air layering correctly. Now let's move on to the technique. The number one reason air layering fails is the wound closes and heals. If the callus tissue forms too quickly and reconnects the phloem, the transport of nutrients resumes normally and the branch will not form roots. Rooting occurs because the downward flow of nutrients and auxin is blocked. If the wound heals completely, that blockage disappears and rooting does not occur. Some people think callus development directly leads to rooting, but that is incorrect. Callus formation and adventitious rooting are not causally related. In fact, in air layering, we must prevent the wound from healing too quickly. The method I strongly recommend, using a plier wrench, locking pliers. After removing the bark in a ring shape, use a plier wrench to apply deep pressure and crush the tissue. On thick branches, even after removing the bark, the wound tends to be shallow. So I go further. I scrape deeper with a knife until the hardwood is fully exposed. With thick branches, you can cut deeper without worrying about breaking the branch, so don't hesitate. Remove plenty of tissue. Thick branches produce roots quickly,
but they also produce callus quickly. So you must create a deep, wide wound that takes longer to heal. This greatly increases the success rate. After you finish creating a deep wound, the next step is to wrap the area with sphagnum moss. First, soak the moss thoroughly and then squeeze it firmly to remove excess water. If the sphagnum is dripping wet, roots will not form. Roots grow by reaching toward moisture, so the ideal condition is evenly moist but not soggy. Wrap the moistened moss tightly around the wound and secure both ends with soft wire or twist ties. Make sure there are no gaps because rainwater, ants, and other insects can easily enter. Since air layering exposes the cambium, sugars, simple carbohydrates, can leak from the wound, which attracts ants and encourages them to build nests. So sealing the moss thoroughly is extremely important. Finally, cover the transparent plastic with a second layer of black plastic to block the light. You can use only black plastic from the beginning, but using a clear layer underneath has one major advantage. You can check the progress and confirm root formation without opening the wrap. Alright, now let's take a look at the results. I performed the air layering on May 9th, and today is November 26th, so it has been a little over 6 months. As you can see, the branches have grown significantly. Atemoya has a tendency to grow vigorously when the daylight hours exceed 12 hours, so from May to November, the branches extend very rapidly. Some branches even became so heavy that they snapped under their own weight, but most of them remained in good condition. The branches I air layered ranged in size, from as thick as my arm to as thin as my thumb. I applied the technique to branches of various diameters, and as expected, the thicker branches produced much stronger rooting. Also, the upward-facing branches had noticeably better results. When removing the air-layered branches from the mother tree, I take them all off at once. For me, it's more efficient to harvest everything in one go rather than spending time removing each branch individually, and as long as most of them succeed, that's perfectly fine. In the case of atemoya, you can graft it onto other Ananaceae species like sugar apple or cherry moya, but each of these rootstocks has its drawbacks. Sugar apple struggles in poorly drained soils and often dies from root rot. Cherry moya has extremely strong vigor, which can reduce atemoya's fruit production. For that reason, it's best to propagate atemoya using air layering from a vigorous atemoya tree. This method results in better vegetative growth and stable fruit production afterward. Alright, now that we've covered the theory, let's move on to the practical part. From here, I'll show you how I remove the air-layered branches from the mother tree and how I pot them up afterward. Let's take a look.
When it comes to cutting off a thick air-layered branch, there is a specific technique that helps prevent the bark of the mother tree from tearing. Here's the proper procedure. First, make a wedge-shaped notch on the side where you want the branch to fall. This serves as the guide cut. Next, make the second cut from the opposite side, slightly higher than the first cut. Saw through the branch until you reach about halfway. Once you've cut about halfway through, gently push the branch toward the direction of the first notch. This will allow the branch to separate cleanly without tearing the bark of the mother tree. Using this method ensures a smooth cut, prevents unnecessary damage, and keeps the mother tree healthy.
Thank you so much for watching until the end. On this channel, I dive deep into everything about growing and propagating fruit trees. I focus on the scientific side of cultivation, and I make sure to share all of the results, both successes and failures. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. All right, that's it for today. See you in the next video, and may your fruit tree journey be an amazing one.